That is definitely worth the effort. How's that for a view? It's pretty remarkable, right? In fact, that is the case for so many of these anchorages that we go and visit. And this week's video is going to be a little bit different to the normal videos we make. And for those of you who are perhaps new here, the normal videos are us living in our floating home, sailing around this beautiful kingdom and venturing into some of the most breathtaking, stunning anchorages that we've ever been to in our lives. And we've been so blown away by so many of them that as a consequence, a project that spouted off of the back of that endeavour was building out a website with all of the anchorages that we've got to enjoy, and we share them with you guys here on Corrosion.com. It's completely free, and it's our hope and our goal that over time we build a resource that has some value, has some use. That's the hope anyway. But today's video is different. Today it's going to be a Q&A video, and we haven't made a Q&A video for years, and so we thought, it's probably time we made another Q&A video. So the other week we fielded out a bunch of questions to our patrons, and they came up with loads of questions, and rather than fielding it out to everybody, we figured that, you know, these are the people, our patrons are the guys and the men and women that support us the most keenly. They're the closest in terms of connection to not just this video making process, but how we're getting on, the building of the website, the anchorages, you know, everything we're building with their help. So it seems only right that they're first in line with their questions, and they had plenty of great questions. So without further ado, let's get straight in to the Q&A.
This question comes from Gord M. I would love to hear more about Hank. How long have you had him? How many times a day does he need to go to shore, etc.? He seems to be such a good boat dog. Good luck in the storms, hold fast. Thanks, Gordon. We've had Hank for about 7 years, and he goes to shore about 2 to 3 times a day. And yes, he's a very good boat dog.
Right, question number 2, still on the subject of Hank. Can we have another man versus dog video? For any of you that haven't seen that video, that's actually this video here, and that was a video made during COVID when we were going out of our minds trying to think of something to do. As for another man versus dog video, I think Hank proved fairly decisively in that video that any attempt to try and out-eat him is completely futile. But this questioner did actually also ask, how about something like a swimming challenge? Now, a swimming challenge, I reckon I'd have Hank in that one, so maybe. All right, over to Carly.
Next question is, how's Dom's health? Well, for that one, I'll pass you back to Dominic.
One of our patrons has asked, how is my health going post-scare earlier this season? Good, I think things are improving, and we're looking to go down a more natural remedy route before we start hitting the medication. So shave off a few pounds, less booze, less chocolate, and a little bit more exercise.
Next question is from Mark Burton, and he says, hi guys, are you open to me popping in for a visit sometime? And yes, of course, if we're in the area, we're always happy to see you patrons in person and say hello and thank you face to face.
Alright, so the next question is, what do you guys think about heading south rather than west? There's some beautiful destinations in northern France and the Channel Islands. I'm sure there are. The biggest issue we have now is moving around with Hank. Post-Brexit, that has basically become an utter bureaucratic nightmare. And Hank, he's middle-aged now. He only has a very short life ahead of him at this point. And since we've started building this anchorages section on Corrosion.com and finding and enjoying all these remarkable places, it's been a great pleasure and a real privilege to be able to share them with all of you. So our focus really now, for the rest I would say of Hank's little life, what he's got left, is to continue just going around the UK and fill in as many little anchorages on that map as we possibly can, and our subjective experience of being in those places, and of course sharing them all with you for free. You can go and check it out and scroll through them, and maybe, hopefully, some of that information will come in of use. Alright, next question is on Carly.
So the next question is, Carly, what's your favourite rum and how do you like to drink it? Well, that would be the Barty Spice Rum, which you'll see as our little rum button on our website, and I do like a spice rum and orange juice.
All right, this next question has been asked by several people in a similar kind of way. So there's about 3 or 4 people that have asked, and so I hope this fairly comprehensive answer covers all of you that have a similar question. But basically, we've been asked, what is the next major job to do on Corrosion? And the answer is, there are a few actually. So this winter we are going to be tackling the sail drive diaphragm on Corrosion. I'm actually going to have a go at that one myself. There's also, in the last couple of weeks, the gearbox seems to be playing up a little bit. It seems a bit slippy, so I certainly hope that holds up by the time we get back to our berthing this winter, and then we can tackle that. We've also got a little bit of play in the helm, so again that's going to need some further investigation. There's also a few leaks in spots that look quite questionable, and last year we actually had somebody from Willett Marine who came over and did some core samples and inspections all over Corrosion, and they came up good, to be fair, but there are still 1 or 2 spots internally that we're going to really want to take a closer look at. And she's 40 years old now. She's coming to that age where she's had a long life, she's been all the way around the world, you know, she's going to need a bit of TLC. So it is for that reason that this winter we are going to be taking Onoa out of the water entirely and into a controlled environment. She's going into the shed at Willett Marine, where we are going to have a crack team of experts help us pull everything off Onoa that looks a bit suspect, and basically put it back together again, repairing anything that needs doing along the way. It is going to be huge, but with enough people around us we hope we can turn that around in a relatively short amount of time. So fear not, this isn't going to be a Mads Sail Life-esque 7-year project. Throwing no shade at all on Mads, one of our favourite channels, to be fair. Hi Mads, if you're watching. But yeah, there's a lot basically that's going on this winter, and Onoa is going to get all the love that she needs. Over to Carly.
Okay, next question is from SV Iotti, and they ask, is the lack of Starlink money, preference or opportunity? Well, money. Definitely money.
All right, next question is, why no Anapolis boat show this year? The same reason we don't do any boat shows, to be perfectly honest, because we go there and we have a look round and all we see is hundreds of boats that we can't afford, and that's a day spent or 2 days spent not doing anything on Corrosion or building anything productive, and instead we've got a day or 2 of just looking around at boats that we can't afford, and we end up with a serious case of boat envy. As for it not being in Anapolis, well, Anapolis is on the other side of the world, and all the prices of the boats are denominated in dollars, which means that the actual number we see for the boats that we can't afford is even higher. So that makes it doubly as depressing. But that's why we generally, I suppose, we don't go to boat shows at all really. So, next question.
Okay, the next question is, we bought a Torpedo 1103 this year and seem to be having some corrosion issues. Are you having the same? We're not actually, but the few things we're doing that might be helping is every time we finish using the Torpedo 1103, we'll spray it down with this pressurised water pump thing, just to get rid of any salt water. And then also we've got an anode on yours. I don't know if you've got an anode, but that is something that they have added onto the 1103 that wasn't present in the 1003. So I hope that helps.
All right, next question. Have you started using your rod and line again to go fishing now that the water temperatures in the UK are presumably getting cold? The short answer to that is no. This year it's been a mixture of spearfishing and using the underwater electric battery powered hooker system that we bought to go foraging and finding food, which is mostly when we've been eating loads of scallops and lobsters. It's been amazing. Last year even, I don't think I used the rod and line. That was mostly just spearfishing and freediving. I got really into it. And both of these methods of harvesting food I've really enjoyed because there's been no bycatch whatsoever. So not only have I enjoyed being in the water and broadening my horizons, but everything we've caught has been really selective, an incredibly sustainable way of harvesting seafood. Now, of course, the underwater electric battery-powered hooker system that features regularly in these videos, a lot of you ask about it. It's not just for foraging for food. You know, it's great because Carly can use it to go down where she can't free dive. You could, you know, unfoul caught anchors perhaps with it. It's great for a mid-season hull scrub, and it all breaks down and stows away into a small space, unlike great big scuba tanks and a generator and all that gear. So we found it really handy. Especially for harvesting food. I'm not adverse to using a rod and line. If the conditions were bad, or if I was injured, or as I get older and a bit weaker and a bit more frail, which I guess happens to all of us, I'll have no problem using a rod and line again. But at the moment in this chapter of life, I either love getting in there, holding my breath and spearing, or the thing that I've enjoyed the most this year, undeniably, is the electronic hooker system. And you guys always ask me about it, and so there's a pinned comment right underneath this video where I've done a bit of a write-up for sort of how I found it and what I think about it and where I got it. So please read all of that. These things are dangerous, they're not toys. But as I say, for those of you that really want to know a bit more about it, as I say, it's all in the pinned comment. Right, next up. And there you have it. That is the conclusion of this video, this Q&A video. I hope that's answered any questions that a lot of you might have. If there are more questions that were just burning tip of your tongue, you're like, no, how was that not asked? This definitely should have been asked. Then jump in the comments and let us know, and we'll do our best to get back to all of you and answer within the comments section itself. But yeah, something a little bit different from us next week. It'll be back to the anchorages, back to buildingcadoa.com, back to business as usual. All right, that's it from me. Bye for now.